Coming up on this episode of the Unusable Podcast...
It's not always a technical solution.
Android's useless button.
Posh pasta instructions. Welcome to the Unusable Podcast, where we discuss the importance of user experience in technology and the world around us, and talk about great design that just works, or moan about it when it doesn't. Andrew, hello.
Hello, David. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. I'm just sorting things out.
You're incredibly flustered. Right, should we do the intros?
I decided this episode to not do any editing, which means that we've got to be absolutely flawless. But the problem is, we are so not flawless.
Let's see how it goes.
Anyway, let's introduce ourselves. My name is David Ball. I'm a front-end web and app developer.
My name is Andrew Waite, and I am the CEO of a software product.
Very good. Okay. Do you want to move on to the main topic, or can I tell you about what I'm going to have for my tea?
I mean, are people going to be interested in this? I guess there's one way to find out.
So we get this pasta delivered, right? So I'm telling you anyway. So
okay.
We get
pasta by post.
It's pasta by post, and the reason why it's by post is because it's special posh pasta, right? And it's probably far too overpriced, but it is really.
I was
nice.
going to say, you do realise that pasta is literally like flour and water, and someone's found a way to charge you a ton of money for it in fancy packaging and send it to your house, and you've bought it. You've
and I'm paying for it on a monthly subscription as well, so it's like pasta as a service.
PAAS. Pass.
So this really nice pasta, it comes and it's really quick to make because the pasta is fresh. So you just have to boil it for a couple of minutes. But the instructions...
So it's not dried pasta.
It's fresh, nice, lovely pasta. And the instructions, there's only like 5 steps to it, which is 1, boil the water. 2, add the pasta to the water. 3, now it comes with a sauce. And so number 3 is where I have a problem with these instructions, right? And it says, number 3, while the pasta is cooking, also cook this thing. But the thing is, the sauce takes longer to cook than the pasta. But they've called that point number 3, whereas really that should be point number 2. And I feel like it's not quite correct because they word it as something like meanwhile, while so it's something that happens at exactly the same time, but obviously they can't convey that because this is a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So so they can't say cook this thing and this thing as both as point 3. So point 3 is afterwards, even though it's kind of before.
I think if you looked up in a dictionary first world problems, I think that's probably going to be the dictionary example.
Is that a minor inconvenience? Oh, is that a minor inconvenience?
I think that's the definition of a minor inconvenience.
Okay, fine. Right, ignore that then.
Have you thought about writing to them and asking them to switch it around?
Sure. No, not really. No, because that requires effort. I can talk about it on a podcast, but I can't be bothered to actually tell them about it. No, because there's probably a reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. So this is something that you told me about, and I started looking into it, and it was about Martin Lewis. Right. Yeah. Okay. So
should we explain who he is? Because I bet not everyone will know who Martin Lewis is.
Okay, so Martin Lewis is a guy. He's sort of a celebrity in the UK, and he's kind of like the face of
saving money.
A company called Money Saving Expert. Like a website called Money Saving Expert, and he goes on TV and he gives people tips on how to save money from their energy bills and all that sort of thing.
Usually it's very similar advice, like phone up and say you're leaving, and then they'll give you a discount to try and retain you as a customer type thing.
So he's kind of like a trusted person when it comes to financial stuff. But the problem with that is that his face has been appearing on these adverts for scams. And that's really quite concerning because, well, for him, because he's obviously built up his entire persona as being the trusted sort of person for money saving and investment. Maybe, does he do investments? I'm not sure, but that's what the scams are about. They're trying to encourage people to spend their money on some dodgy scam thing, and these adverts are using his face and saying Martin Lewis recommends that you do this thing, this
pyramid scheme that clearly is a scam,
this dodgy pyramid, dodgy scam sort of thing. And these adverts are appearing on Facebook, and what happens is that they'll say that they'll have his face and they'll say click this, and then it'll be taken to like some sort of weird copy of like a reputable, I'm not sure if it's reputable, but an actual newspaper where it shows an article where his face is alongside a headline saying definitely do this thing, click this link, whatever. And then I think somebody calls you after that point and maybe you fill it in a form. I don't know. But
and then you lose your life savings to a scammer.
Exactly. So what he has to do is when somebody tells him about one of these adverts, he has to report it on Facebook. So you can do that. You can click on the top right or whatever, report this as a scam or whatever, and you get all these different options as well. There's this spam or scam or harassment or whatever like that. So he reports it as a scam. But the thing is, this has happened loads of times, and he's obviously having to do this, or one of his employees or whatever is having to find these things, and it's difficult to find them because these adverts only show up
for a small audience on Facebook.
Yeah,
right?
In somebody's personal feed. So they won't be shown to him, they'll be shown to somebody else. So they have to tell him, hey, look, I found this.
Yeah. So
that he can report it and whatever. And Facebook do take them down, I think. But from his point of view, well, they keep happening. He says he's playing whack-a-mole or whatever. And then he was saying, well, I don't have the time to keep policing Facebook. Why do they keep running these adverts? And how that works is that somebody is using Facebook as a platform to... They're paying advert to run these adverts. They're paying Facebook to run these adverts. And Facebook's taking the money and they're just running them until somebody says... take them down, please. This is a scam. So Facebook is making money out of this whole thing. And do you want to tell the next bit of the story? Because this is what you were telling me originally.
Yeah. So, well, I think he successfully took Facebook to court, didn't he? And
he actually settled out of court, but because they negotiated about it.
Yeah, but he argued obviously that Facebook has a responsibility for the quality of ads on their platform. I think Facebook was arguing that, well, people can post, ads. It's them who it's the people who are posting the ads whose fault it is. You should be suing them. But obviously they managed to settle out of court or whatever, which I guess is some kind of admission of liability from Facebook, isn't it? But I think afterwards, and he was invited to Facebook to try and come up with some solutions, right, and help them to not run ads like this in the future. And all of the Facebook people around the room were coming up. This is according to what I heard from Martin Lewis. Obviously, all the Facebook people around the room were saying, we can't technically weed out these ads. We can't detect them. We've tried these different techniques. AIs. We've tried. Lots of different ways, and people always find a way around it. So we can't weed them out, right? And Martin Lewis's point in response to this was that why are you limiting yourselves to a technical solution, Facebook? right? That Facebook can only see technical solutions to the problem, or the Facebook team can only see technical solutions to the problem. And Martin Lewis would say, well, if you just got to employ a load of people to approve every ad, that's what you've got to do. If that means not, if that's what's needed to stop my face appearing next to a scam advert, then that's what you've got to do. And Facebook couldn't, well, according to Martin Lewis, Facebook couldn't, even imagine a non-technical solution to the problem. And I think that's kind of interesting. I think that's true of a lot of tech companies, right? Everything has to be a technical solution.
Yeah, so they're thinking, like, how can we write code to solve this problem? And he's like, no, just get a person to do it. Just do this simple thing. Just get a person to have a look at it. And they're like, oh, no, but maybe we need to code some facial recognition thing and stuff. But just,
I think from
just have a look.
From Facebook's point of view, they were trying to. They want everything to scale, right? They want a technical solution to everything so that a human isn't involved and it just scales infinitely. So Facebook don't like anything to be put in the way in terms of roadblock. So I guess that's why they were so desperate to have a technical solution so that everything can carry on being automated and no humans get involved, and anyone can just go on and post an ad and that ad goes live and it's all checked automatically. But Martin Lewis had this very valid point, which is if there is no technical solution, then just do it. Yeah. Just get on with it. Manually. It's not my problem. Yeah, but it's almost like Facebook's defense was. I think this is the point. Martin Lewis's point was that Facebook were almost using that as a defense, right? Saying, well, I don't know how you expect us to police this because there is no technical way to stop all spam ads.
Yeah.
But Martin Lewis's point is that's not a valid defense, because just because there's no technical solution to that problem doesn't mean there isn't a solution to that problem, and you are liable for the content on your platform. So if you can't solve it with technology, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
You've got to solve it with humans or however it needs to be solved, but stop putting my face against adverts.
So they're trying to be all automatic about it, whereas you have to do it manually.
Yeah. The reason I think this is interesting though, is that I think a lot of people in the tech industry are guilty of the same thing. I don't know if you think you are. I think I am sometimes.
Maybe. I don't know.
If someone comes to me with a problem or a business problem, my instant reaction is to think, how can we solve that with, by automating it, by hooking system A up to system B. I would never think in a million years we'll employ someone to copy that from a. Do you know what I mean? I would never. My brain never goes to human-based solutions, and I wonder if that's both the superpower and the Achilles heel of a lot of tech companies. If that makes sense, like it's on the one hand, it allows tech companies to do amazing things and scale to massive sizes, but it's also a massive blind spot, right? If all you've got are technical solutions, I don't know.
I sometimes do try and 'cause I work on websites, so the websites that I work on, I can't say that they're all small, but sometimes they are the type where I could automate something. I could make something automated. However, I'm just thinking, I don't know, a system where a page would be automatically unpublished on a certain time, or something that would be automated, like maybe it displays. What's a good example? I'm not sure. But anyway, I usually, just because I'm maybe a bit lazy and also I prefer simple solutions, I'll try and hard code things. Sometimes we've got some websites where we generate images, so show images. Now it's quite a common thing these days to show a really more optimized version of the image, like a WebP image, something like that. And we've got some websites have got a plugin in that will automatically turn the JPEG that you upload into a WebP and then serve that to the people who are viewing the website. But we've got some older ones where it's probably a bit more complicated. And if all I'm doing is adding one image to one site, I'll just use a tool that will generate a JPEG for me and a WebP for me, and go, I'll just add that. I don't need a whole plugin that does this all for me. It's only one image. I don't need a plugin. I suppose maybe that's another thing. People need plugins for doing complicated solutions when you could just maybe write a bit of code in a few minutes.
Yeah, I think our podcast website is the perfect example of that. Like, it's just so simple, and as developers, we can both just go in and just write a couple of lines of code if we need to make a change. There's no complicated CMS behind it or anything.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing, isn't it? Yeah. Sometimes you'll make a really complicated website with a CMS for a client, and then it turns out, do they need that? They make one change a year, which you could probably just do by editing a file. I don't.
Just keep it simple.
Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. In fact, that's keep it simple. That's one of the things that Jacob Nielsen says is one of the design. What's it called?
Commandments. Is it one of the
design commandment? Oh, maybe so. I watched a video with Jacob Nielsen this morning, and he came up with this quote, but then immediately said that the quote was wrong.
Are we just to check, by the way? Are we allowed to still like Jacob Nielsen? Didn't it come out that he's like not a nice person or something bad or something, and now there's lots of debate about?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
I could be totally wrong about that. So if I am wrong about that, yeah, we might need to cut that out. Apologies.
Oh my God! Calm down. I don't know, but do you? But the debate is: do you judge someone by the value of their work or by their personal lives? I don't know what he's done. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I can't remember, so I'm not going to comment. Can
I tell you this quote though? He told me.
Go ahead.
He described this quote from Einstein, which was, "Everything should be made as simple as possible, but no simpler."
I like it.
How do you feel about that quote? That's a good quote, isn't it? However, that's not the true quote. That's a simplification of the quote by Einstein. Do you want to hear the actual quote?
Go on.
It's a bit long and not as good. It can scarcely be denied that the supreme goal of all theory is to make the irreducible basic elements as simple and as few as possible without having to surrender the adequate representation of a single datum of experience.
That is exactly the same thing said in about 30 words instead of 5.
Yeah, I like the simple boiled down version of it.
Yeah. No, but it's right. Yeah, you want as simple as possible without losing the thing that makes it what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
God. So, an area where I think, in my experience, I tried to apply a technical solution when actually a human solution was the right option. Trying to organize a team. So I remember going back a few years ago, our team wasn't functioning particularly well, I don't think. People didn't always know what they were doing, or how what they were doing fitted into a bigger picture. And I was always looking for like a new tool, like a new project management tool that was going to fix the problem for me, right? I was forever going from like Jira to Monday.com to, there's so many of them. And I was always like, trying them out, going, as if I can just get this tool working, they all promise in their marketing and their videos that, it solves all your problems. Of course they claim that. And, I just go from one to another thinking, always thinking for whatever reason, we just hadn't found the right tool yet. And then I realized that, possibly later than I should have done, but maybe that's me being a tech guy, that really the problem was a human problem, right? I needed to put a process in with the team to explain why we had that process, how they fit into a wider team. And so we did that, and we originally used Jira. And it was transformational. Like, we do retros every 2 weeks where we kind of talk about the process and how we can improve it and how we're working. We actually moved to Linear instead of Jira, which we thought was a better tool. But that was a case where I was putting a technical solution to something that was really not a technical problem. The technology was the last couple of percent.
Yeah. So you just needed to work stuff out as people.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, think about all the way throughout history. I don't know, ancient Egyptians made giant pyramids. They didn't have Jira board, did they? They just got on with it.
What do you mean they weren't doing Kanban boards and two weekly sprints?
Maybe they were. I don't know if that was written down on the papyrus. Maybe they haven't found any evidence of that yet.
Just ship it.
But what I mean is that huge sculptures, huge monuments or whatever were planned. Huge projects were planned, and they didn't rely on software to sort that out for them. They
organised themselves. Well, yeah, but even in
they
things
just
like
organised themselves.
In the Second World War, you can imagine how much organisation would have had to go on with the troops on both sides, and they would have used at best like paper and notes and things, and
just people power, minds, and cleverness. Yeah.
But the lesson I learned is it's more about the process and the people than it is about the tool, right? The tool is just the thing that you use, right? And you can go from tool to tool, and it doesn't really matter as long as the people know what they're doing and how they're working and how the work gets done.
Yep.
And that's not the tool's job to tell you that either.
Can I tell you about our latest Twitter followers, Andrew?
Yes, you can.
Right. Do you want to say hello to them right after I've finished them all, not just individually this time?
What? So I was going to say one big hello at the end.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I'll try and make it as grand as I can for you.
I'm not sure about that. Okay. Jay Eskenazi, Vijay Singh, Anthony Adderley, Sam Norman, and Mang Lee.
Hello, everybody! It's nice to have you with us.
Jesus, that was far too enthusiastic.
I did what you asked me to, though. I kept quiet for the whole... And then... Yeah.
Good. Should we do Bad Usability Nightmare?
Yeah, should we do... Wait, hold on.
Bad Usability
Nightmares!
Good.
Oh, it's me, isn't it?
You've got one, yeah.
It's me. So it's just it's pretty straightforward. It's a gripe about the latest version of Android.
Oh, right, okay.
And so I was due an upgrade on my phone, and I got the Pixel 7, the new one.
Okay, right.
And you know how for the longest time phones have had, like, you have the volume rocker on the side,
yeah,
and then you have the power button, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, someone clever at Google has decided maybe the power button shouldn't be the power button anymore.
What? Why would the power button not be the power button? What have they done?
So, by default, if the phone is on, and you press the power button, you know how you press and hold it for a few seconds, and the menu comes up and it says, "Do you want to shut down and restart?" and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've made it so that now doing that opens Google Assistant.
What? Why would you want that?
And if you want to, what they tell you to do is, if you actually do want to turn off your phone or power off, is that you press and hold the button for a couple of seconds, Assistant pops up, and then you have to say with your voice, "Shut down my phone" or "Restart my phone."
No.
Yeah. This is literally on the Pixel 7 what like the little sort of prompts, the onboarding prompts tell you to do. Now, thankfully, I have found an option to disable this and to make it go back to just being a power button, which is what I want. However, that's not before I had a little bit of a problem. So this phone actually crashed.
Okay.
And So yeah, it basically didn't work. So I was pressing and holding the power button, and yeah, I couldn't say shut down, basically, because it had crashed.
Hang on, crashed in what way? What do you mean? What do you mean it crashed?
Like it had locked up. It had locked up. The phone had locked up.
Okay, right. And so you're trying to restart it? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, some bits of it were still working, but like for whatever reason, yeah. And yeah, I couldn't restart my phone without talking to it. So I had to do the thing where you would press and hold it for like ages and ages and ages and ages and ages and ages.
Yeah.
And then eventually it kills it and restarts it.
At least you can do that then. But I find that really odd.
Yeah. What? Why is it odd? So for one reason, it's messing with convention, right? It's an established norm that button on the side is the button you press to make it come on, the button that you make it to press to unlock it, and it's the button that you press to turn it off. So it's a learned convention that they're going against.
So if I'm about to put it in my pocket, I want to make sure that the screen's off, make sure that I'm not going to do any pocket dials. So I'll press that button to turn off the screen. I know it doesn't turn off the phone completely.
No, so quick press still does the same thing. So quick
still
press
does that.
Okay,
okay.
But it's that like long press, for a couple of seconds, and then it goes, bzzzt, and it like, yeah.
I suppose there's rare occurrences where I will need to turn my phone off, though. I mean, I know you go into like a movie theatre and they say turn your phone off. No one ever does that. They just make sure it's on silent.
Yeah, well, can you imagine having to talk to your phone and going, turn off now, please?
A whole theatre of people all saying that.
In fact, that was actually one of the things that I have run into that as well. So I was trying to restart the phone and I was in bed and my wife was asleep next to me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be like having Google Assistant going, hello, how can I help you? And I'm going, restart now, please.
No,
like,
no, of course not.
Nobody wants that. Anyway, I found an option to disable it now, which is good. But I just thought that's just a stupid decision. Like, fine, add a dedicated button for Google Assistant, or I actually quite miss, on earlier Pixels, you could like squeeze the sides of the phone and that would make the assistant come on. I quite like that.
I missed that too. That was so useful.
Yeah, squeeze. Yeah.
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 Yeah, they should bring that back. That was really good.
Yep.
Because it was just really handy.
Well, I don't know. I get the impression that maybe what they've done is people said they missed that, and as kind of like a Tesco value version, they've done the power button fires up the assistant thing. But
maybe so.
I don't know.
Wow. I've got a bad usability nightmare, but it's so similar to one that I've told you in the past that I don't know if you'll let me get away with it.
Okay.
But I was using the Nike running app, right?
Mm.
And I was signing up for it. This is when I was signing up for it initially, and I was using my phone, and it wanted me to enter my date of birth. So it showed me a date picker. Now,
yeah.
This has happened to me before with date pickers, but this was like a custom date picker. So it wanted me to enter my date of birth, but it was one of those like really simplified interfaces. So it looked kind of cool and nice, and I was looking at a calendar month, but that's when I realised that I would have to go back. The only way to go back a month, like there was no way to go back a year. You couldn't type in a date. Okay, so let me start again. It wanted me to type in a date, but it gave me a date picker showing the current month.
Which is dumb because nobody signing up for this Nike thing is going to be born
now.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like I've had this problem many times on different websites, different apps. But I couldn't select the year. This is the main problem. I couldn't select the year. There was there was an obvious button to go back last month and a button to show next month, which I mean is definitely dumb because I'm definitely not going to be born next month.
So I wasn't born yesterday. That's the phrase, isn't it? I wasn't born yesterday.
I had to go back many, many, many years by pressing previous month. And
oh my God. So 12 clicks to go back 1 year is what you're saying.
I realised I'd have to press it like 400 times or whatever. It would be crazy. But then there is a resolution to this. I did realise you could change the year, but you had to press. It was really not obvious. You had to press the year, but that wasn't displayed as a button
or a drop down or anything. It was
drop down. No, it wasn't. It didn't look like it was something that could be pressed. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like they were messing with a kind of convention there. Because things that are clickable, they look clickable.
Mm. Yeah,
but they didn't the same look things as a clickable. It didn't look like a clickable thing.
The same thing's true in life, though, right? You want to make, if you put a door on a building, you make it look like a door, and it's distinct in appearance from the rest of the wall.
Yeah.
So people know it's a door. It has a door handle. That's an affordance that you can see what it does, how it works, and how it's going to operate. You see this where on buildings where they have like glass, like glass walls on the front, and then the door is also made of glass, and there's very little differentiation between the door and the wall, and people just walk straight into a wall if they think it's the door, right? Yeah. That's the same thing, but in real life.
That's it. Yeah, that is it. Very frustrating.
And what you've encountered there is the web equivalent of like a hidden passage, right? Like when in the movies where like I don't know, it's a bookcase like that behind, and like someone like tilts one of the books, and then it reveals a door to a secret passageway. That's essentially what you found there on the web.
Was there.
Yeah. But there's a point with the secret passageway, right? That you want to, only people that know about it need to know about it. Whereas
that's true. On
a web form, not really very helpful, is it?
I don't want anything to be secret. If it's something that's clickable, then show me it's clickable. That's all. That's all I'm asking. On an app, on a website, game, anything, any piece of software, or like you say, a door.
Yeah, I hate that. That's a good point, actually. I hate that in games. It's rare I play a game, but when you play a game and like it's not obvious what things are clickable or how to interact with it, I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate that so much.
Anyway, that is the end of the podcast. If you've used something unusable recently, we want to hear about it. You can email us at podcast@theunusable.com, and we're on Twitter @UnusablePodcast. If you've enjoyed this, there's plenty more. The last episode was called Solving EV Charging Problems, where Andrew interviewed Wolfgang Bremer. And on YouTube, we've got a video called What If Your Shower Was a Website? We also have unusable t-shirts and hoodies. Like that. Can you see it? That's what this is.
Well, if anyone's listening to the audio podcast, that's going to make no sense.
Oh, yeah, sorry. And that is at podcast.theunusable.com. Music is by Gold5472. Please subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast so you'll get a notification about the next one. And that is it. Until next time, goodbye.
Bye-bye, everybody.